Okay, hello, this is Dr. James, and today I'm going to talk about the Philadelphia experiment and some experiments that I have conducted personally with RF generators and what I call psychotronic energy, which is life energy, and I'm going to talk about how they're all related and why I think that this is true. So let's start off. I had been interested in this topic for a while. I heard of Al Balik, and I can't vouch for everything that he says is true or not, but it's an interesting story. But there's also another side to the coin where Charles Berlitz, I believe that's right, wrote this book. Let me find it right here. The Philadelphia Experiment, Project Invisibility. So as the story goes, and let's talk a little bit about the other evidence that we have. Berlitz supposedly got information from, there's a guy named Dr. Jessup who wrote the case for the UFO, and someone named Carlos Allende was sending him letters with information about this experiment, and supposedly he's finally sent him a case of the book, the UFO book that Jessup wrote, with annotations in the sides, along the sides of the book, talking about these experiments and other details about different things, UFO propulsion systems and such. And he talks about the Philadelphia experiment. And supposedly, during World War II, the U.S. government funded a top-secret experiment to try to make a destroyer ship invisible using Nikola Tesla's advanced technology. And supposedly they were successful. They made the ship vanish, and it had devastating effect on the sailors that were on board. Supposedly a lot of them went mad, some of them caught on fire, some got embedded in the bulkhead. And so I just wanted to look at one excerpt from the book. Let's take a look here. Okay, so this is page 42 from Berlitz's book, and he talks about a scorch field, and then he also talks about it generating a secondary field, a hyper field. Okay, and I believe this is correct. I believe that the scorch field is referring to a high power RF field, which will burn you, and the high power RF field generates a secondary field. And then he talks about its effect on people's mind, causing them to go into a deep freeze, and they're saying that this is not a psychological effect, that this is due to the hyperfield, and it would cause people to become frozen in time. And I believe this is probably also correct. I believe this life energy is related to time. It can be manipulated with RF fields, and it's related to the mind. It interacts with your mind. And so all this, I believe, is correct. And I'm just going to do a simple little demonstration to show how RF fields interact with. I can charge up, in this case, a torsion pendulum, but other objects with life energy, or energy from my hands, and then the RF fields can generate a force on charged objects that are charged with this new type of charge. It's not an electromagnetic charge. The torsion pendulum is kept in a shielded Faraday cage, so the fields penetrate through that, so they cannot be an electromagnetic field or an electrostatic field. And so let's get to it. I'll show you some experiments that I've done to show the link between the scorch field, the RF field, and the hyper field that they talk about in the Philadelphia experiment, lending more credence to the fact that, and I don't know if I mentioned, I had a friend. Let's talk about that first. I had a friend from the Navy who was high up in the Navy, and he claims he was interested in such things, the Philadelphia experiment, because he had a friend, an old-timer, who claimed that he helped install the Tesla coils on the Eldridge in the original experiment, and supposedly he witnessed some of the experiments, and he would become very emotional when he comes to that point, when he's talking about that, about what happened to the sailors. He would just break down and cry. What happened to him was so horrible. And my friend says this guy that he knows, been friend with him for his whole life, would never make up such a thing, and definitely swears that he was involved in installing the Tesla coils on the Eldridge, which was supposedly the ship that the Philadelphia experiment took place on. And anyway, I think that there's a good possibility that this experiment did happen, and Nikola Tesla possibly was involved in it. So let's look at these simple RF experiments showing a link between what I would call the psychotronic field and the electromagnetic field. Okay. Okay, here's the Baofeng radio, and I have the frequency set to, I believe it's 438 megahertz. Or maybe it's 155. I'll have to check to see what that is. Okay, and I just got through charging up this pendulum with my hand, and well, I'm going to let it stop twisting back and forth for a second. Okay. And okay, we'll let it settle down. And then we'll try hitting it with some RF and see what happens. Here, we'll push it from the back side. Okay. Transmitting on right now. Okay. Let's try pushing it on this side. So it seems to be repelled from the RF. It's on right now. Try pushing it from the back. Okay, there. So the antenna is about halfway across the back. It seems to push harder. Again, this is inside of a Faraday cage. So it seems to be repelled from the RF. Okay. Let me take a look at the frequency. So it looks like it's changing. It's the 155 megahertz. So I'm changing that up and down. 155.5. So what is that? VHF? 156. Oh, now this frequency seems to be attractive. 156.45. Okay. Let me change it back to 155. .5, I think it was. Okay. Yeah, seems like it's pushing it away a little bit. Let me try putting it from the back. Maybe I need to recharge it up again. I'll try charging it one more time. It charges down as you use it. So I'll concentrate and put my energy back into the pendulum. It's really twisting now. Okay. So I'll let it calm down for a second, and then we'll try
transmitting again with the RF, and I believe the VHF band. Okay. Sometimes when the energy gets in there, it twists back and forth a lot. Okay, let's try it now. And just to make sure it's pushing it, I'll try pushing from the back with the RF. And it definitely seems to be repulsive. Okay, I'll let it calm down for a second. Maybe it depends on how you position the antenna, whether it's attractive or repulsive. Maybe it's not the frequency. Okay. Okay, so it's twisting back. And I'll try to use the RF to push it again. So it definitely seems to be responding to the RF field. Very interesting, huh? A UHF transmitter. Okay. Anyway, this is Dr. Janes, and thanks for watching.